Hi, this is Josh Clark with this week's episode of Be Your Best. Today I'm here to talk about the magic of enthusiasm. You see, I'm really excited about this topic right here because, too often we go through what we consider the grind of life and we're just trying to get through it and just trying to endure it. When really what we need to do is we need to choose to be enthusiastic. Just got back from a leadership conference this past week, and one of the couple who hosted it and spoke, it was said about them that they were enthusiastic. You didn't have to ask them, did they believe in what they were doing? You didn't have to ask them, were they passionate? They exuded it. And so what I want to ask you today is, do you choose to be excited? Do you choose to be enthusiastic? Or do you walk into the office? Do you walk to the week like Eeyore? It's going to be another day. Or are you like, hey, you know what? I'm blessed to be alive today. I'm blessed to be here. I'm blessed not live in pale and timid times, to have the opportunity to fight for freedom, for liberty, to use my gifts, talents, and abilities that God's given me to make an impact on the world. You see, you can choose to be enthusiastic. It's just like love. If you're in a long-term committed relationship, you don't wake up every single morning and you just feel all lovey-dovey. No, love is a verb. Love is an action. You choose to be loving to your spouse. Just like you can choose this morning, I'm going to be enthusiastic. When people ask me, how am I doing today? I can say, fine, doing good. Or I can choose to say, you know what, better than I deserve. Or to say, fantastic and improving. It's getting better, because I choose to believe that. You see, one of my favorite books, it's an old classic. It's called How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bettger. In fact, the foreword to the book is by Dale Carnegie. And in this book, the first chapter, he shares one idea that increased my income and my happiness, and it was enthusiasm. He shares a story how he was playing professional baseball and he got fired. So he went up to the manager and he said, excuse me, why did you fire me? He said, Frank, you walk around here like a 20-year-old veteran, you drag yourself around. He said, you're not excited, you're not enthusiastic. He said, in fact, you come across as lazy. And it shocked him, lazy. That's not what he was expecting. He said, no, I'm nervous. He said, I'm a bit scared. He said, I don't want the players and the people around to notice that, so I just try to take it easy. I just try to blend in. He said, you know what, Frank? He said, do yourself a favor. If you get another chance, put yourself all in. Don't take it easy. Don't just show some enthusiasm. Be excited. Stir up your gift. And so you know what? He got another chance. And guess what happened? He multiplied his income increased his income by 700%. A few years later, he had multiplied his income by 30 times. In fact, the paper said about him, they called him, guess what they called him? Pep Bettger. Because the papers talked about how he was the most enthusiastic guy on the team. And his goal was to be the most enthusiastic person in the league. What about you? What is your choice? What do you choose? Because if you'll choose to be enthusiastic, pretty soon you'll begin to feel the emotions. Because oftentimes emotions follow action. So, and then Frank, it's interesting, the book doesn't end, the chapter doesn't end there. Frank went on to have a serious career-ending injury playing against the Cubs, playing for the St. Louis against the Chicago Cubs. And so he lost his career. Now, all he knew was baseball. In fact, he dropped out of school as a young child, helped support the family. He didn't have much to fall back on, so he went and got some odd jobs, and he found selling insurance, and he was a dismal failure. And then he came across Dale Carnegie, and he learned the same enthusiasm that he learned to have with sports, that he could also apply that to his business. And so he chose to turn his career around, become the #1 top paid salesman in the country by the act of enthusiasm. It's not so much what you say, it's how you say it. Have you heard that before? I'm sure you have. My mother would always share with me Proverbs 17:22. And it says, a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a broken spirit dries up the bones. You see, you can choose joy. That's what Mom would always say to us, to the kids, when we weren't being cheerful or complaining, or we weren't acting enthusiastic. She'd say, choose joy. And so the question for you today is, will you choose joy? How will you respond when somebody says, how are you doing today? Will you create a whole new habit where you say, fantastic and improving? Where you say, better than I deserve? And people say, whoa. At first they're going to say, what's up with you today? pretty soon, you know what you're going to find? Everybody wants to be around you. Pretty soon you're going to find that even if you don't start the day feeling great, pretty soon you're feeling enthusiastic. So here's my challenge to you today. The next 30 days, not just week, next 30 days, I want you to write enthusiasm on your mirror. I want you to put a little note in your mirror in your car that says, you know, act enthusiastic. And then I look forward to hearing how it changes your life and how it impacts all of those around you. Now go out there and make it an awesome day. God bless. And if this video has encouraged you, please take a moment to share it with your friends and family. And together we can be a catalyst to change the world, one person at a time, through enthusiasm.